Hello and welcome back to my this new module of the chapter 3.6, the concert by Shanta Rao. Shanta Rao, the writer, is also known as Shanta Rameshwar Rao, but the writer mentioned in your textbook is Shanta Rao, the dancer, which is absolutely wrong. So you need to concentrate on Shanta Rao, the writer, who had written lot of books for kids. She motivated the kids to learn the Granthas, the Vedas, and the Puranas by making it very interesting for the children. Shanta Rameshwar Rao is a writer from Hyderabad and she writes books for adults and children. She is very good at stories related to myths and legends. One of our most popular books is the Mahabharata. So before moving ahead, children, I would request you all to please sit down with your textbook open. And those who have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do subscribe it. And if you're liking my channel, please do share it with your friends and family members to understand English more better. And if you want anything which needs to be shown in my videos, do write it down in the comment section so that I can make the new videos for you. So let us move ahead to the next part, that is your glossary. I have given two types of glossary or the meanings. To understand literature, you need to understand the meanings too. So we will first see the glossary with the help of pictures. So the glossary with pictures, I've taken the pictures of concert, divan, and gas. So what is a concert, children? A musical performance given in public, typically by several performers or of several compositions. Then comes the divan. Divan is a bed consisting of a base and mattress, but no footboard or headboard. Then coming to gas, you can see already the expression. What is the meaning of the word gas? Gas means catch one's breath with an open mouth owing to pain or astonishment. I hope you have understood the three words with pictures and the meanings explained. Now, in the next slide, we will see some more words without any pictures. So, here, glossary without pictures. Excited, which means feeling or showing happiness. Maestro, a great performer, a musician. Sprang, moving quickly or suddenly, unbidden, without being asked or invited. Self reproach, blame oneself. Gravely, seriously, astonishment, great surprise. Enchantment, great pleasure. And there are many more glossary or the meanings given in your textbook, children. So you need to read those and understand the meaning from your textbook. So the story, starting with the story, this is a true story, but all the names except the name of Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha Khan, others all have been changed. They both have the same name as the story goes, written by Shanta Rameshwar Rao. These two names she hasn't changed because they are the great masters of Indian classical music. So she did not alter their names. She kept it the same, except the other characters which are there in the story has been changed. So you need to concentrate on the other character's name. You have the main protagonist in the story, Smita and Anant. Then you have Aunt Shushila. This is the third character which you can see in the story as the story progresses and how this character develops, especially the character of Smita and Anant. You can have a clear glimpse about both of their characteristics. Moving ahead, So the story starts one morning in a small apartment of Mumbai. A girl about 16 looked up from the newspaper and said excitedly, Pandit Ravi Shankar is playing tomorrow at the Shamukhananda Auditorium. She's too excited, and the way she expresses her expression, she forgot when she was reading the newspaper, she just springs up. And then mother says, pointing to the bed, "Shh," said the mother, pointing to the figure sleeping on the bed. You will wake him up. You know he needs all the sleep and rest he can get. But the boy on the bed was not asleep. What was he doing? He just sprang up. Pandit Ravi Shankar, he said. Pandit Ravi Shankar, the sitar maestro. He raised himself on his elbows for a second and then again fell back. So this was his inquisitiveness, but his body did not allow him to sit straight for more than a minute. But his eyes were shining. We mustn't miss the chance, he said. I have I have always wanted to hear him and see him. The mother there cannot take see his son ailing. The mother comes quickly. Lie down, son, lie down. His mother sprang to his side because the boy had actually raised himself up without he actually raised himself without help. She murmured with a catch in her throat and eyes and turned to the idols in the shelf, corner of the shelf, and she uttered the prayer. Which she uttered was endlessly came unbidden to her lips. So she was praying to God to make her son well. That I must hear him and see him, the boy repeated. It's the chance of a lifetime, Mama. He then began to cough and gasp for breath and had to be given oxygen from the cylinder that stood under the bed. But his large eyes were fixed on the sister. So basically, the sister was the lucky one, according to the brother. The brother could not but just be on bed and had to be given oxygen that same particular moment. The brother was gasping for breath, but he could not shift his eyes from the sister. Then Smita bit her lip in self-reproach because she was totally disturbed. She didn't knew why did she behave like this. She knew that her brother was suffering and in ailing situation, but still how could she behave in such a way? She had seen how the doctors had shaken their heads gravely. She felt like crying. She knew the mistake which she did. She went towards the window and started crying. Then, or she had actually seen the suffering. She had seen how the doctors had shaken their heads gravely and spoken words that neither she nor even her parents could understand. But somewhere deep inside, Smita had known the frightening truth that Anant was going to die. And she knew that the word cancer had hung in the air. Her brother was dying of cancer, even though she pretended that all would be well and they would return together, a small family of four, to their home in Gaganpur. So she used to just console herself by saying all these things, though she knew very clearly that brother Anant is going to die. So, what do you mean by the word hung? Hung means in distress. He was only 15 and a boy with so much of talents. The best table tennis player in the school, the fastest runner. He was learning to play the sitar, and they both were taking sitar lessons. But Anant was better than Smita, as in many other things. They had come to this great city with the hopes on the miracles of modern science. They told themselves that Anant would be cured in the hospital and he would walk and run and even take part in the forthcoming table tennis tournament. So these were their expectation, and they really believed that Anant would be good one day and they would be able to go back to their hometown in Gaganpur, and the full family would be happy looking at all the qualities which Anant had. So this was actually their expectation from Anand. But they did not voice their fears. They laughed and smiled and talked and surrounded Anand with whatever made him happy. They fulfilled his every need and gave him whatever he asked for. And now he was asking to go to the concert. So it was really something which the mother, the father, and Smita wanted to fulfill, but Anand's health would not permit. So she felt like crying. So Sheila was totally shattered till the end, and she could not understand what could be done because she wanted to fulfill the dreams of her brother, the main intention that he wanted to meet once and listen to the great maestro Pandit Ravi Shankar playing. And he would play the sitar one day, taking home and giving him indulge the boy. The doctors had already given up hope. The doctor said, give him the things he likes, indulge him. And they knew that indulge means to allow, to enjoy the pleasure of something. That is the meaning of indulge. So the boy, the doctors already told that it is his last days. You need to take him back home, give him whatever he wants to do. So he just, and right now he wanted to go to the concert. So she felt very bad. Then Aunt Sushila came to her rescue. Aunt Sushila said that, Smita, if you're not feeling well, just go down to the park, just walk, and you will feel better. You will feel better. And the mother, all, of course, told Smita, that if you take a walk and your fears will be removed. And even the mother also told Smita, whispering to her ear, that you can go, Smita, and you can enjoy the music because we will not come to Mumbai every time. Aunt Sushila's advice she followed. A walk in the park might make you feel better, Aunt Sushila said, and Smita was grateful for a suggestion. So this suggestion came in the park. People were walking, running, playing ball, doing yoga exercise, feeding the ducks, and eating roasted gram and peanuts. Smita felt alone there in their midst. She was lost in her thoughts. Midst means in the middle of. In the middle of something, you call it midst. So the meaning of midst means in the middle of. And when she was in the midst of all this thinking, suddenly a daring thought came to her. And as she hurried home, she said to herself, why not? There is no harm trying it. It would be nice to go to the concert. Excuse me. I don't know when we'll get another opportunity to hear Pandit Ravi Shankar, she said to her mother later. And father agreed to get the tickets. The next day, Smita and her father were leaving for the concert. Her brother smiled and said, "Enjoy yourself." Though the words came out in painful gasp, "Lucky you." So, sitting beside her father in the gallery, Smita heard, as in a dream, thundering welcome the audience gave the great master. Thundering welcome means loud welcome. Then, when the maestro started playing, the first notes came over the air, and Smita felt as if the gates of the land of enchantment and wonder were opening. Spellbound, she listened to the unfolding ragas and slow, plaintive notes, the fast, twinkling ones, but all the while the plan she had decided on the evening before remained firmly in her mind. Spellbound means children. Spellbound means fascinated. She was just thinking what she had planned at home way back. The chance of a lifetime. She heard Anand's voice in every beat of the tabla. The concert came to an end. The audience gave the artists a standing ovation. A large mustachioed man, having a long mustache, made a long, boring speech. So that was the end of the performance. Then came presentation of bouquets, more applause, the curtain came down, people moved towards the exit. Now was the time. Smita wriggled and went towards the platform. She went up the steps. She went up the steps that led to the wings, her heart beating loudly. In the wings, a small crowd had gathered up to talk about the evening concert, to help carry the bouquet and the teacups and instruments. He was there, standing with the man who played the tabla. For him, the great wizard music, Ustad Allah Rakha. Her knees felt weak, her tongue dry, but she went up, standing before them, and said, "Oh, sir," and she bursted out. And what was the request she made? Yes, he asked questioningly but kindly. And a story came pouring out, one after the other, the story of a brother who lay sick at home and how he longed to hear those stars play. So then finally he said, "Will you come to Aunt Sushila's house and play for him?" She asked at the end breathlessly. "Please," she begged. "Little girl," said the mustached man who had made a long speech, "Panditji is a busy man. You must not bother him with such requests." But Pandit Ravi Shankar smiled and motioned that mustached man to be quiet. He turned to Ustad Shahib and said, "What shall we do, Ustad Shahib?" The Ustad moved the wad of pan from one chick to the another. Wad of pan means a chick full of pan. So tomorrow morning we perform for the boy, yes? He said. Yes, Panditji replied. It's settled then. It was very excited Smita, who came home late night. Anant was awake, breathing the oxygen from the cylinder. And look at his expression. Did you did you hear him? He whispered. I did, she replied. And I spoke to him. And he'll come tomorrow morning with a tabla, Ustad, and they will play for you. And the following morning, Aunt Sushila's neighbors saw two men get out of a taxi which pulled up outside their block. They could not believe their eyes. Is it? It's not possible, they said. So the two men coming out from their car, Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha Khan, went up the wooden staircase, knocked softly on the door of Aunt Sushila's apartment. They went in, sat down on the divan by the window, and played for the boy, surrounding him with great and beautiful happiness as life went out of him gently, very gently. So, children, could you feel the depth of the story and the relationship between the brother and the sister? So, do read the story in detail, and any doubts, do let us know. I hope you have understood. So, thank you. Read the full story. That's a request. If you are enjoying literature, you need to do the reading also. To enjoy literature, it's not enough just to listen to story. You need to read the language used by the author. Then you will understand the depth of the language or the meaning of the words used by the author in every case. Thank you.